Patriots Bears. No, buddy. Don't look too excited to talk about this one, Dalton. Please.
I'm not.
Please.
This is
please.
No, it's
Hold
hard.
it
It's
back.
hard to watch.
Patriots win this game 19-3. Let's take a look at the top 5 graded New England Patriots in this game. Tight end Austin Hooper at the very top of the list with an 85.7 defensive tackle. Jeremiah Parms Jr. with an 84.2. Safety Del Pettis with a 78.4 offensive tackle. DeMontre Jacobs with a 76.2. Linebacker Jelani Tavai with a 71.4. And then Drake Maye in this game, a 64.4. On the other side of things for the Chicago Bears, linebacker TJ Edwards, a top-graded player at an 89.7, Safety Elijah Hicks with an 87.1. Guard Tevin Jenkins, a 79.6. Defensive tackle Gervin Dexter Sr., Gator great, with a 74.6. Running back DeAndre Swift with a 67.4. And then Caleb Williams in this game, a 54.5. Sad told the story. Unfortunately, there's a lot of bad ones from Chicago that I think we're going to talk about here. But which one did you point out? Which one did you highlight?
Okay, I'm going to take the just short window here before we get into the same long-term freakout that everyone else is getting into. Here's the facts. When the Bears run the ball and they are an entire offense, a two-dimensional offense, they win games. They have run the ball for 80 yards, which isn't that many, but 4 of the 5, I believe, are well over 100 yards. When they've run the ball for at least 80 yards, they're 4-1, and the one loss is the Washington game with the Hail Mary that they should have won. Should be 5-0, but they're 4-1. They run the ball for less than 80 yards, they're 0-4. And it just speaks to there's all sorts of different angles, so we're going to pick apart every different angle of this here, but it just speaks to if they don't run the ball, and they're one-dimensional, it's too much on Caleb. And there's too much on Caleb when the schemes are just not working. They're another team along with the Jaguars and the Jets and the Cowboys, where not only are they bad on offense, but I don't know what their identity is and what they're trying to do on offense. That's where I'm at with the Bears. There was like a 3-week stretch where I started to get an idea of what they were trying to do. We're going to run off tackle. We're going to run some bootlegs because, we'll get Caleb out in space, and he's an athlete, and he can make plays cutting down half the field and getting him out in space. And we're going to just be a little more on time and in rhythm, and even if we're a conservative offense with a rookie, that's fine. It's gone. Now it's just gone because now they went back to putting, getting in the shotgun and running from the shotgun instead of being under center and running between the tackles, which hasn't worked for them all year. And they are right now the only 2 teams less explosive than the Bears are the Patriots and the Browns. That's the level that we're at here, that they don't have anything downfield, and they only sometimes have things even within the bubble when you talk about a conservative offense. So if they don't run the ball, they stand no chance at all, and they didn't run the ball in this game. They had less than 80 yards again, and in those games they're 0-4. So there's more stuff to go. You have plenty more. I have plenty more. But at the very least, in this short-term first 9 games sort of window that I'm looking at here, that's what I see.
Yeah, they stink. This offense stinks. It's essentially what we talked about with the Texans, where they can't score in the second half. That's the Bears all the time, especially when it comes to out of the gate. You highlighted this a couple of weeks ago, how bad this team is starting things out. 1.6 points per quarter in the first quarter, which is 31st in the NFL. I think the Eagles were the only team that had less points in the first quarter.
And they finally scored a touchdown.
Right, so I think the Bears might be dead last in the NFL if I went and looked at it updated. Negative 0.277 EPA per play in the first quarter. That's 29th in the NFL. 0 points with 3 punts in the first quarter versus New England. This is a team that you should beat. This is 100% a team that you should beat. Or at least it should look a lot better than this. 0 points, 3 punts in the first quarter against the New England Patriots. Got to be better than that, man. It's week 10. You got Caleb Williams. You have all those receivers. Oh, okay, the offensive line isn't perfect. It's got to be better than that. It's got to be so. The floor for what this offense is for the Bears has to be so much higher than it is. And that's an indictment on coaching. I hate going after coaches and calling for people's jobs. It's tough. The league is tough. The game is tough when you're going up against professionals. It's hard. I don't want to be this person that just says, oh, fire this guy. This guy doesn't deserve to have a job. I do not like doing that. I really don't. But we're 10 weeks into this season, and very clearly what is being taught, or the coaching philosophy that the Bears have, specifically on the offensive side of the football, is a failure. It is failing. They've already had that player meeting with Shane Waldron that they had, whatever it was, week 3, week 4. sort of worked for a little bit. Like you said, we sort of started to see an identity. They are getting worse as the year goes on. As they are, and that's the big issue here, because it's one thing to come up with a game plan that works. It's another thing to say, okay, well, how can we make this sort of our focal point moving forward? And it is a completely another thing, whatever the phrase is, to then evolve off of that. And when defenses figure it out, you actually have a counterpunch to them. The Bears don't have a counterpunch. And now we're sitting 10 weeks into the season. They don't have any sort of counterpunch. We already saw that DJ Moore was so pissed he walked off the field and sat on the bench on 2nd and 6 while the play was still going on in the first quarter? 11 minutes in the first quarter? It's like, I rolled my ankle. Brother, come on, man. We all have eyes. We're seeing what's happening here. Well, I guess I can't be too hard on him, because it's not like he's going to say, yeah, I'm giving up on my team. So, but we all have eyes. We're watching it. We understand what happens. The frustration is overflowing. Since week 7, Bears are scoring on 19.4% of their drives. It's worse than the NFL. They also have 23 straight possessions without a touchdown, which is currently the longest active streak in the league. The offense stinks. And that it should not be nearly this bad. Football at this level is hard. Again, I want to give full respect to the coaches and the people that come up with the game plans and how you execute these things, and the players that are executing the plays when they're out there on the field. I want to give all due respect. I really do. It's got to be higher of a floor than this. You have invested too much money in draft capital into some really talented football players to look as bad as it does for the Chicago Bears. And that's my stat, and that is my stat that tells the story, because that is the stat that has told the story for this entire season for the Bears. And the problem is that this was the last like theoretical win that you should have had if you were the Bears. Because after this week against the Patriots, you go Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit, San Francisco, Minnesota, Detroit, Seattle, Green Bay. How many games are you winning out of that? 2 maximum?
Yep.
It feels like the Bears are winning 2 more games this season.
Maybe.
And that is if their offense gets better.
They're currently I don't know.
The Bears,
I don't know what the lines are, but they're
the Bears
an underdog
in their
all
current
of those
state
games.
lose every single other game that they have in their schedule. And it's the NFL. That's not how it works. I don't think it's going to happen. But team's bad, man.
Yeah, no, I think, and again, my most disappointing is Shane Waldron. My most impressive, I'm going to give credit to the Patriots secondary, and here's why. Patriots, okay. So you mentioned it. I think you mentioned the right thing. Bears have talent, right? We've got DJ Moore. We've got Keenan Allen. We've got Rome Odunze, first-round pick. We've got Cole Kmet. We've got all these things, right? And that was the idea is, well, he's got the best supporting cast ever that a number 1 overall pick's ever had, right? I'm not even going to so much put this on Caleb, okay? We got all these weapons. We have all these things. We got a shiny new offensive coordinator. We have all that stuff. Patriots came out. The New England Patriots came out and ran man coverage on half their plays yesterday, on half of the Bears' offensive plays yesterday. Caleb Williams versus man coverage went 7 for 17 with 72 yards and a 46 passing grade. All right? So I figured, okay, off day, the Bears are running cold. They're demoralized from the last 2 games. For the season, with all of those weapons, the Bears the Bears passing grade and receiving grade against man coverage and their EPA per play against man coverage is the 3rd worst in the NFL. We have all of these weapons, and we're not winning one-on-one, and we're not scheming to beat man coverage when teams are going to it. So I go, okay, so they had 1 play in this game longer than 12 yards, despite seeing all this man coverage. I've got all these receivers that everybody tells us are fantastic, and at certain points in their career have been fantastic players, right? And yet, teams are lining up. The New England Patriots lined up one-on-one against them a lot in this game, and they're the ones, Christian Gonzalez and the New England secondary were the guys that went in there and won the battle against those guys outside. So we're not getting the schemes. We're not winning on the outside one-on-one. It looks a lot like the same issues that I see, again, from the Jets and the Cowboys and the Jaguars, where there are no, you mentioned it, there's no layers to the offense. It's just kind of, they go out there and they run some base concepts, and it's vanilla. And you can have as much talent as you want in the NFL. If you're that vanilla, you're not going to score a whole lot. You're seeing the same thing from the Jets. Well, but they have Rodgers and Wilson and Adams, and we'll get there in a minute. But, like, they still don't score points because they don't do anything. That's where the Bears are at.
Yeah. My most disappointing is Caleb, and it's maybe less of Caleb and just Caleb's situation, I think, is what I think is most disappointing here with the Bears, because this is his lowest PFF passing grade without having a recorded turnover-worthy play in the game. His time to throw is it's still high, and eight sacks taken in this game. I mean, sure, it's the offensive line in front of him, but also he's now seeing ghosts. Caleb is not getting better.
This is as indecisive at any point since we've watched him since he was, 19 years old,
yes.
even at Oklahoma.
Yes.
It's as indecisive
Correct.
a game as he has ever played.
Yep.
Ever. He's not even, usually in the past, if he was indecisive, okay, he would at least run around and improvise and do all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's indecisive in the pocket and just he don't even know where to go with the football right now. And honestly, there's a lot of times not only, I shouldn't say he doesn't know, but he's looking out there. I'm telling you, no one's open. And somehow you have these three guys on the outside, and still no one's open, just getting locked up. It's crazy. The entire operation the Bears are rolling out there right now, especially in the passing game.
My most impressive Patriots pass rush. Took advantage of Chicago Bears offensive lines not playing very well. 7 sacks total, 13 tackles for loss, 20 total pressures, 33.5 pass rush win percentage. Hell yeah, love it. I think the Patriots are playing a little bit better than I thought that they were going to. Certainly through the first couple of weeks of the season, I thought it was going to be rough for this team, but they're playing all right. It's not like the floor has totally just fallen out from under their feet. This is a team that very clearly in this game, if you don't play a fundamentally sound football game, they can beat you. They can score enough points to beat you. And I want to give them their credit.
And going to Drake Maye, for as much as we were scared of it with the O-line and, is he going to get hurt or whatever, but going to Drake Maye seems to have given this team at least a jolt, right?
As long as Maye wasn't going to get hurt, that was always the right call. Because I think I might have said this, but I don't know if I would have fully believed it. I don't think that Drake was going to regress as a quarterback. It was just a matter of, is he going to get killed back there? And as long as you tell me he's healthy,
he at least, and I know they lost the Tennessee game last week, but even that play at the end of regulation last week, that's the sort of thing where, okay, the rest of the team can keep playing hard. They know they're going to pick in the top 5. We're aware of this, but they can keep playing hard and keep wanting to progress as the really young team that they are, because he's in there, and because, in this game, I think he was okay. He made one back-breaking mistake, but his defense got him through it, right? And it wasn't great. I think he had 2 big-time throws and 3 turnover-worthy plays, but I think the Patriots are at least believing, okay, this is going in a direction that we kind of like, and we'll play hard, and you come away with wins like this when you execute, because the other team isn't.
All right, let's move on. Was there anything else you want to say about this?
No, I'm good on that.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe the video. And if you don't have a PFF Plus subscription, you can get one to see all the premium stats that we talked about here on the show, plus the expert betting and fantasy advice over at subscribe.pff.com. The description is also right below, so if you are not a PFF Plus subscriber, you can come one today.